Welcome to this very important briefing on the poll of Haitian Americans on the impact of the quake. My name is Sandy Close. I'm the Executive Director of New America Media, which sponsored the poll and commissioned the poll. New America Media is a national association of ethnic news organizations, and we have been working with Ben Dixon and Amandi polling for over 6 years. I think we've done almost 20 multilingual polls through this remarkable polling firm. And when the quake struck, it seemed so important from the vantage point of the Haitian American communities and the Haitian American media we work with to provide an opportunity, a platform for the 1 million Haitian Americans in this country to have their voices heard. This morning, we will release the results of this very unprecedented poll in Creole and English, and we will use the poll as a catalyst in at least 3 cities over the coming weeks: Miami, Chicago, New York, and I hope Washington, D.C., to convene Haitian American community members, leaders, activists, scholars, to have an opportunity to express their perspectives, their concerns, their visions for the future of Haiti. We do know that the diaspora community will be critical for the future of Haiti, and this poll is simply the start of a conversation. It opens the door to issues. It's a catalyst for conversation in this community and a way of spotlighting this very important diaspora community and their role in the future of Haiti. So I do want to acknowledge the important foundations that provided the funds in very short order for conducting this poll and the convenings in the future. And they are the Atlantic Philanthropies, the Overbrook Foundation, and Tides Foundation. So my thanks to these funders for supporting this poll. My thanks particularly to Jeff C. Metellus, whose organization here helped us with the shaping of the questionnaire, and several very important colleagues, Sharon Rosenhaus, formerly of the Sun Sentinel, and other advisors who helped with important input on the shaping of the questionnaire. But above all, my thanks to my colleagues, Sergio Bendixon, Fernand Amandi, and the polling firm that conducted the poll.
It's a very important poll for our communities in general, and it certainly is a reflection of the hope and inspiration that we hope to build upon as we move forward in the effort to really look at rebuilding and reshaping Haiti.
To get to the results, I just want to emphasize how hard we worked to make sure that this poll was representative of all Haitians that reside in the United States. We not only interviewed Haitian Americans that live in Florida and New York, where obviously the large majority of Haitians live in this country, but we also polled Haitian Americans in at least 5 or 6 other states. So we can, I think, with a lot of confidence say that this study reflects the point of view of the Haitian American community, of the Haitian diaspora in the U.S. Within the margin of error, which is about 5%. Let's go right to the results and the demographics, just so that to reemphasize, it's 400 interviews, again, a representative sample, and it was done in both English and Haitian Creole. The respondent basically chose what language to be interviewed in. And just to give you an idea of the demographics so that you see how representative it is from the point of view of age, we have the proper quotas of Haitians that are 18 to 34, 35 to 49, 50 to 64, 65 plus. Numbers are very similar to those in the U.S. Census. From the point of view of country of birth, like the census tells us, most Haitians, more than 80% of Haitian adults in the United States, were born in Haiti. Haitians under 18, the overwhelming majority are born in the U.S. But this is a poll, and I think this is what makes some of the results extremely significant. These are people that were born in Haiti. Haiti is their country of origin. They care very much about what goes on there. They stay in touch with their family, with their friends. They're very opinionated about what goes on, and their point of view, I think, as expressed through this study, may have a very significant impact in terms of what happens to Haiti's future. Gender, there's a majority female, as the census says. State of residence, as you can see, it's divided into Florida, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and other states. And in terms of how the language that the interviews were conducted in is approximately half and half English and Haitian Creole, again, by choice of the respondents. Fernand's going to go over a couple of the first findings, and then I'll come back to you with the more political findings of the study. Fernand?
Professionally, we always wonder and ask ourselves, are the major findings going to be clear? Is the impact of this poll going to be felt? And as you'll see in a moment, this is it's an extraordinary poll that I think the results will just really and give you a sense of just how this tragedy is being felt, not just in Haiti, but here in the United States as well by the diaspora, who is following it extremely closely. Let's go to the first major finding. The Haitian community of the United States has been deeply affected by the earthquake that has struck the island nation earlier this month. 3/5 of all Haitian respondents told our interviewers that they had lost some of their loved ones. 2/3 of them feel that the situation in their country is so dire that they are willing to move back to Haiti for a period of time to help with the reconstruction. So in the midst of this tremendous tragedy that has practically impacted all Haitians, they are still willing to move back to the country and give their part. Let's look at some of the results in greater detail. The first statistic here cites the figure that the European community has put out. It estimates that more than 200,000 Haitians have died as a result of the earthquake. Almost 60% of Haitians in the diaspora of the United States have lost some of their loved ones. This is a direct context. So this is a very tangible, significant number that just shows you the extent of the pain and suffering being felt by the diaspora here in the United States. Let's go on to the next slide that talks about whether or not they're willing to go back to Haiti for a period of time to help reconstruct the country. Now, if you were to ask this question of Italian Americans, Irish Americans, if there were a major catastrophe in Ireland or Italy, I wonder how many of them would say they'd be willing to leave their life in the United States and go back. Testament to the resilience of the Haitian community, 68% say yes, they are willing to leave the United States and go back to Haiti for a period of time and help in the reconstruction efforts of the country. Let's go on to the next major finding. 78% of the Haitian adults in the United States report having sent a financial contribution, which on average has been about $75, to help the victims of the earthquake. And the large majority of those that have been sending remittances to their family members in Haiti on a regular basis say that they are now willing to increase the amount that they send every month. Moreover, 62% indicate that they are willing to adopt or foster a Haitian orphan from the earthquake. Now keep in mind, the average income of most Haitians in the United States is not comparable to some of the other groups. So this is a sacrifice in and of itself, and the fact that they're willing to send more, again, I think, is a testament to the resiliency of this wonderful people.